Let the madness begin!
With fighting games, one of the biggest barriers of entry is the language, the terms used to explain situations or strategies in the game. In this episode, we go over some of the more common phrases used throughout fighting games. Sometimes referred to as either super armor or hyper armor, armor is a state during which your character can absorb an attack as recoverable damage called white health, without interrupting the attack that your character is currently doing. Laura's EX Bolt Charge is a great example of this. As mentioned before, white health is a small amount of recoverable damage that can be dealt to the opponent. In Street Fighter V, all blocked normals deal a small amount of white damage. Should you be hit before the white damage fully recovers, you will lose the remaining portion of it. Chip damage is the small amount of damage done to a character when blocking a special move. Unlike white damage, it is not recoverable. Also, you cannot knock out an opponent using chip damage in Street Fighter V, with one key exception: the use of a critical art. Damage scaling, often just called scaling, is a built-in mechanic in fighting games to ensure that a single combo won't outright KO an opponent. As a combo gets longer and longer, the amount of damage each subsequent move does will be decreased by a percentage. In Street Fighter V, damage scales by decreasing the total damage a move does by 10% for every move of a combo. So 90% at 2 moves, 80% at 3 moves, and so on. It's important to differentiate between moves and hits in this case. For example, even though Laura's EX Thunderclap hits multiple times, it only counts as a single move and is scaled as such. Sometimes special moves are given a property where the character is immune to damage while the move is starting up. These moves are deemed invincible on their startup. Added invincibility to the start of a special move is a common trait of EX moves. A media attack is an attack activated while your opponent is in the action of standing up after being knocked down, forcing the opponent into a position where if they try to attack with anything that is not invincible, they will end up being counter-hit. Often, the only safe option for the opponent is to block. Linking is the ability to combo with a normal attack while your opponent is still in the hit stun of a previous attack. This is a crucial skill that must be learned for competent Street Fighter play. Button presses must be done during the very small windows of opportunity, usually around 1/20th to 1/30th of a second, that exist between each normal. For example, Ryu can link his standing medium punch to his crouching heavy punch with specific timing of his button presses. Juggles are simply combos that are done while your opponent is in a mid-air state. While not nearly as prevalent in Street Fighter as other fighting game series like Mortal Kombat or Tekken, there are characters who can confirm massive damage off of juggle combos, with Karin being a prime example. A frame trap is the use of a move that leaves your opponent thinking they have a window to counterattack, when in reality, you will have recovered from your attack so quickly that they can be caught defenseless if they try to attack during that small window. This will often lead to a counter hit and also large combo potential. Mix-ups are techniques that make your opponent have to guess how they will need to block your offense. They often involve moves that will leave your opponent confused as to where the next attack will come from, high, low, or as a throw. Laura, for example, is very mix-up heavy, with a focus on tricking your opponent into thinking they need to continue blocking, when instead, they will now get caught in a throw. That does it for the final episode before the full release of Street Fighter V. Next time, we start to go into the tricky math behind plus and minus frames.